Hey, it's Captain Matt, Boater's Secret Weapon, and we're going to talk about how your surf wake are made and how to get the most out of your wave. So let's talk about the three ways that wakes are created. First is the hull design and the weight of the boat. So the way they shape the hull makes a big impact. The ballast in the boat, whether it's built in or add on, fat sacks or bags of lead, whatever, or people even, that ballast is going to make an impact. And then finally is obstructing the flow. So you have your surf systems, gates and tabs, wedges, but also listing fits into that category. So let's take a look at the bottom of the boat. If you look at the bottom, it's sort of that angle of the dead rise. Now they do different shapes to make different wave styles, but that's sort of affixed on your boat. You've got a surf hull or you don't. And if you don't, not much you can do about it. So that's more in the deciding which boat to buy. We've done the video review of best and worst surf boats and how to buy a used surf boat. So you can check those out. We're not going to cover much. But essentially, if you look on the yellow boat, that flat bottom is going to produce a tiny wake, and that steeper V hull, even though it's got sort of the M design to it, is going to produce a bigger wake. It's displacing more water essentially because of the way it sits in the water. The next thing you can do is add weight or ballast to the boat. Now, typically, the weight you want to put in the back of the boat is where you'd start with it, maybe a little bit in the middle, and start with none in the bow. What's going to happen is you're gonna sink the butt end of the boat down. That's going to displace more water, which is going to give you a bigger wake. Okay. Now, you've got what to do with the weight. And with the bottom of the boat, you've got your surf systems, which is really just a touch of the button and learning how that works. But how do you adjust your wake? Well, if you want a bigger, faster wave, you can slow your speed. Remember, part of the wave is created by displacement, and the slower you're going, the more water is going to be displaced over a shorter period of time. The same amount of water, but over a shorter distance. That's going to give you a bigger, taller wave, a faster wave. You can increase the weight in the rear of the boat. Again, when you're looking at building a big, tall wake, you want that weight in the back. You want that butt end weighted down and producing that big weight. You can add some weight to the midsection and zero weight in the bow. That's usually going to give you the tallest, fastest wave, okay? You can also add more listing. If you don't have a surf system, the surf system's kind of taking care of that list for you, and it's set at a spot where if you go too deep, it's not going to work as well. So the listing, if you don't have a surf system, you're going to put more weight on the side of the boat that you're surfing, and that's going to displace more water and make a better surf wake on that side. And then you can deploy, well, I'll say more surf system. I don't know if that's the right language necessarily, but play with your, go from a 1 setting to a 5 setting or a 1 setting to a 10 setting, depending on the brand you have. And that typically is going to give you a bigger, faster wave is how they're set up. Now, if you're like, man, that wave is too tall, it's too fast, it's got pushing me right into the boat, the first thing you can do is you can increase your speed a little bit. That's gonna mellow that wake out because, again, you're displacing the same amount of water, but over a longer distance, okay? So that's gonna shorten it up. You can have most of your weight in the rear, slightly more weight in the midsection, and maybe some weight in the bow. Again, as you continue, you keep the boat weighted down, but not everything is in the rear of the boat, and you level it off a little bit. It's going to displace a little bit less water. It's going to make it less steep. It's going to give you a little bit less push. So if you have a beginner, if you have a light kid, if you have somebody that's intimidated by that big wave, you can do these things to lengthen that wave so you got a bigger pocket to surf in, but you don't have that same level of push. The other thing you can do is you can list a little bit less. So the more list you have, the bigger that wake is going to be. So take a little bit of weight, move it to the other side, and that can do the trick. And then a little bit less surf system. So moving that surf system number up to a lower number again is typically going to mellow that wake out. And then once you get the size right, then you can start, depending on what you have, even moving, 50 pounds of a lead bag or to one side or the other, moving it forward or back. If you really want to get the curl, you got a little bit too much whitewash on it, you can do those little adjustments of slightly moving some weight forward, back, side to side. and that is going to help you dial it in. You can adjust your tabs slightly more. And again, the tabs are just like ballast, is they're really just displacing more weight by pushing that further down in the water, so that more water is redirected, and it's going to make a bigger surf wake. So those little adjustments, once you I like the size and the basic shape of that wake, but I want it to crest a little bit different. I want the whitewater to be a little bit more gone. Then you can do your small adjustments there. If you found this valuable, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to boating and new to surfing, check out the Boater Bootcamp. It's got a lot of great information for new boat owners, as well as our best boat captain on the water, specifically for inboard wake boat owners. You can check that out as well. And remember, life truly is better on a boat.